anyone have, we have one. Is there any other formal proposals for tonight? Two? Okay, so we're just going to do one and two.
Ted, can I give these to you to pass out? I appreciate it. Alright, so last Sunday I had this approved informally for the March 23rd march that I've been suggesting. To give you a rundown, there's a printout coming around, but on March 23rd, on the 236th anniversary of Patrick Henry's speech, Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death, originally given at St. John's Church on March 23rd, 1775 AD. I propose that we do a 1-mile march from St. John's to the state capitol with the intent of reenacting the speech. It is technically illegal to do so because this is an insurrectionist speech, and it is illegal to do insurrectionist speech at the Capitol. I don't make these things up, trust me. Whereupon we can reenact Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death, which I've already just mentioned. Permits will not be permits will not be asked for by ORVA. Individuals can, if they so choose, get a permit for themselves or a group of them if 5 or 6 people want to do it that way, whatever. The reasons for this are as follows. This is a great exercise in free speech, a chance to show that this government does not represent our interests. It'll give us some face time with the media. An opportunity for education and of the public, and on here it says see detail 5, which I'll get to the details in a minute. Number 5, bolster our numbers. We're kind of starting to look sad, guys. Maybe a march would inspire some people to start showing up, so keep that in mind. Details. 1, I or someone else will reenact the speech. It's kind of long. I wouldn't necessarily suggest a mic check if people really want to do that. I'm okay with that. We will need bike traffic blockers like we've done on past marches, so this is detail side. Is 1 mile from St. John's to Broad Street. This is on a Friday, and I'm suggesting that we do this at 5 p.m., which is rush hour traffic. Basically, it's annoying for people, and it'll, again, bring up more media coverage and also bring up the idea of conversation amongst people. Because those people in traffic who are kind of being mad at us will start thinking about, well, what are we doing? Or at least that's my theory. 5, I would suggest that we do a discussion about ORVA's beliefs in nonviolence, because this speech was, in fact, calling for violence. It was calling for war. We aren't calling for insurrection at this point. I don't think ORVA has made that announcement. I could be wrong. I know we've declared diversity of tactics. I think that's a little strange.
Do we have a forum for that?
Another topic, we can talk about NDAA and how Patrick Henry, if he had done that this time of day, would probably be disappeared in some jail somewhere. Also, Patrick Henry was a slave owner. This gives an opportunity to discuss that. So, yes, he is a great American founding father, yada, yada, yada. He also owned slaves and was calling for freedoms that he wasn't giving his own people. And I say his own people because he kind of owned them. Sorry.
Typical white man.
Yeah. I would suggest that our signs for picket signs, etc., be minded towards free speech. And I trust everyone to do their own thing for that, but that's where I would suggest we go. That is my presentation.
All right, now we are opening to clarifying questions.
So you suggest,
No, it's fine. I'm just, can we just get, we're going to open stack for clarifying questions and close stack. So anyone who has a clarifying question, 1, you got it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
Number 1.
So, you're suggesting reading this speech in full?
Reenacting it to the best of my ability, if I'm the one doing it. If
Okay.
if GA decides that it should be someone else, so be it. But yes, in full.
I was just gonna say, I mean, look, I'm an actor, if you want any help, or if you want any sort of whatever with it, I can do this, or help you to do it to the best of your ability.
I would warn you that if you did decide to do this, there carries a 10-year jail sentence if they find you to be insurrectionist.
Really?
Really. It's a felony. Make no mind about it.
I'm gonna look that up in Merriam-Webster.
It's funny you mention this on state capitol grounds, so you can look up the rules and regs. I know one sergeant has already sent me the rules and regs while I was looking this up, which is also why on here it suggests that, well, if we can't do it on property, maybe we'll do it on the sidewalk, or at least I think it says that somewhere. But yeah, at or near, detail 1. So, you know, if we get pushed off, I'm not trying to go to jail here, but if they just walk up and arrest me, so be it. Yeah, I want to make that clear as well.
Number 2.
No, I'm going to withdraw mine because Mr. Hancock answered the question I was going to
Okay.
ask him.
Okay, I just have one little quibble about, and you brought it up, about Patrick Henry. I mean, it's good and all that he gave a speech about liberty, and give me liberty, give me death, but you know, it would almost play into that white-dominated history that we have in America of their voices obviously being the majority and being the ones that are heard, and I think that it might be a little, given the history of pretty much all our founding fathers, that we even recite a speech today. I think that we could announce the irony. I mean, this is the day, this is the time that he gave that speech. But I'm just saying, I don't know if we need to actually reenact that speech specifically. I mean, you could. I don't have any ideas, but I just have a quibble with.
I apologize. What was your question?
Oh, do we have to, and do you have to enact that speech? Is that?
I merely bring it as a suggestion. If we want to do a march about something else, do it on a different day, so be it. This is just my suggestion. And I am, by the way, at the end of my little sheet, it actually says in kind of fine print, the presenter is open to civil amendments. I know it's friendly amendments, but whatever.
There is an amendment time after this. This is just clarifying questions for anything that you are confused about regarding the proposal as it is written. So, this gentleman in the back, hi. I'm going to put him. This is out of order right now, but I have not heard his voice yet, and I don't know who he is. So I'm putting him in.
I just wanted to ask. Oh, and just in case I know y'all haven't seen me, Charles, I'm visiting from my Norfolk guy, live on the peninsula, and wanted to show you some love up here. But as far as the march on the 23rd, can the marchers, like, you're saying it's a felony, so could everybody be arrested? Or
only the one making the speech, from what I can tell. So if we did a mic check, sure, everyone. But I think if we have one reenactor, that'll be enough. Yeah.
Excellent. Other, what's the word? Isaac and then
I think I know the answer to this, but do you have a copy of the speech with you?
I do not have one on me currently. I actually handed out a bunch of these, the copies of speech last week on Sunday. I was hoping that people could get a hold of them and go through them at that time. If you'd like, I'll pull it up on my iPod and show it to you later, or if we have time, I will look it up and actually read it to everyone if they so choose.
Teddy?
Yeah.
Yes, do you have any more copies? We need like 10 copies. A lot of people didn't get a copy.
Oh, the
Yes.
proposal?
Yes.
Pass them around, guys.
everybody can see it. If anybody's together, if you just share one.
All right, we need, raise your hand.
Over here, I didn't get anybody over here, but.
Here you go. All right.
Okay, now,
You might get it back.
okay, so we're gonna get a temp check on the floor proposal as it stands before amendments. As it stands, all those in favor of, put them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. Stand asides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and opposed. 1. Okay. All right. So there's that. And now we're moving into amendments.
And I'm very open to those.
Yes.
I was just gonna say, if you'd like, I'll pull the speech up on my phone and read it. Because I feel like that's a large, never mind, all right.
The body is.
Yeah, I should have printed them out. I apologize.
So amendments. Opening stack. Does anybody?
I would just say that we should be open to different speeches being presented. I would just suggest, I mean, I wouldn't have one offhand, but, you know.
I'm okay with different ones. It's just that is the anniversary of, which is why I picked that date. Any other dates, any other speeches, go for it. I see no reason why we can't have more than one.
And they gave that speech right here in this position.
Yeah, St. John's Church is a mile away from the state capitol building. That's why we're
More
doing
reason
March.
to do it.
From two. Yeah.
Yes.
Any other amendments? See nothing, so we're going to move to vote. So, all right. So just the one to do a different speech. That was the only
discuss it all?
Hmm?
Can we discuss it all?
Comment section.
And this is just for voting. This is,
Well, I believe that passed as is without.
we didn't vote on it.
Oh, that was not a vote. That was
Temp
just
check.
temp check. Okay.
I just wasn't clear on whether or not you accepted the friendly amendment.
That's your prerogative.
Real quick, what was the friendly amendment one more time? I apologize.
That we should consider using another speech.
What if
Okay.
That's not a friendly amendment.
Process it.
We kind of discussed this at the last meeting where they were talking about consensus, and it's not really up to the proposer to accept. We're supposed to kind of work together to come to consensus, and I hope that's something we kind of try to do because it's consensus and we should do
Should
it.
we move to vote as a body on that amendment? That's what I'm saying, that's what I'm hearing?
I'm unopposed to this.
Okay, all right. So yes?
That does not reflect the process as I understand it. My understanding is whether it's a good process or a bad process, we decided that
Well, in that case, since I have the ability to turn down or accept, I would like a temp check on what the people think.
Okay,
Is that acceptable?
all right. Is that a clarifying question?
Yeah, would this be a speech in place of or addition to?
I would say in place.
And I would accept that, but I would also like to propose my own amendments at separate and different style, and say that one and another one, so that we could have either or, and that way there's an option.
Okay, so keeping it fluid. So we're temp checking the amendment for Harry. So all those in favor of looking into other speeches possibly in exchange of this one? All those positive, put them up. All those stand sides? 1, 2, 3. And then all those opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What's score?
Less than 50.
What is the 90% math for right now? Just
We're at
out of
24, so it would actually be only 3 people to. Okay, So that is the amendment. Now we are voting on the proposal itself in body. So,
Did you get a chance to discuss this at any time?
do you want,
I would love
you were asking
for
open stack? Okay.
Conversation is wonderful.
Awesome, okay, so we are moving to stack, so, yeah. All right, so first,
Are you one?
who's number one? I think I was.
I think so.
It only goes to 5, and then they'll reopen it if they want.
I think that giving a Patrick Henry speech is a very good idea, despite the fact that Henry himself is a hypocrite, because it's sort of, it's topical. He gave it here in Richmond, it's the anniversary, and I think we all understand that there's a lot of hypocrisy in our founding fathers. And I think it's good to bring that out.
Number two. Anybody remember who? When stack is, when given a number in stack, please remember your number.
I think it's you.
I'm two, I'll go two. I have a great deal of problems with both Patrick Henry and his speech, the violence, the slave owner, all that stuff. But I really like the drama of this proposal, taking it to the state capitol and reenacting that. We know that we're not proposing insurrection. We know that we're not proposing violence. I think it will get attention, and it's a positive thing, even though I wouldn't make that speech myself. But I don't think he would make that speech himself, but reenacting it's fine by me.
This might seem like it's awful. What about a non-black doing Dr. King's speech?
I'm sorry, we have people in stack already.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right.
Well, I have to go see y'all in Belvedere, gonna make some signs. Put some warm clothes on. I got to my riders out there. Okay.
Is it?
I'm gonna get some warm clothes on.
See you there.
I'll see y'all later.
See you there.
Keep up the good work. Love you guys.
I can't help because he spoke exactly what I was
All right.
saying.
And it, sort of in response to what Jordan said earlier about a different speech, that amendment, I would kind of entertain the idea of just creating our own speech.
Isaac.
Yeah, I was just saying, I don't like voting for the speech without thoroughly reading it. And yeah, I think we can do a lot better. Maybe this sounds arrogant, but than our founding fathers did. And so I kind of don't, it does rub me the wrong way, but I can see a lot of good reasons to do it. So I guess I'm going to stand aside and see where this goes. It sounds interesting.
Perfect.
Oh, I just was saying that she said that, how about Martin Luther King's speech?
Does anyone know the anniversary of that speech?
Which one?
Oh,
The Dream. I had a dream.
That was in August.
That was in August. That was August 28th, 1963.
no reason we can't reenact it in August as on the anniversary. That's what I would suggest. Sorry, am I allowed to respond? Just out of process? Okay.
I have two things to say. Firstly, I mean, in terms of our current plight, it seems to me that parts of I've been to a mountaintop are even more applicable in some ways. And secondly, I'm just leafing through the speech right now on my phone. What you're proposing is fundamentally a theatrical action. So firstly, you could have someone who is a minority or whatever do the speech, and secondly, this needs to be cut if you're talking about a dramatic piece of work. I mean, it's a fine speech, but this needs to be cut, and what we could do is, we don't actually have to add to it. What we can do is get rid of the chaff and get rid of some of the more controversial, crazy bits, like when he's talking about the British Crown and whatnot. We don't need that, we're not talking about that. Let's cut it, let's get right to the meat of it.
There. Technically, stack has been closed. to reopen SAC for further questions before moving on to vote.
We have some questions or comments? Because I thought we were doing a comment section.
Comment, yeah. Reopen SAC to okay, so all those in favor of opening a new SAC? Any opposed? Okay. All right, so we're reopening SAC. For comments.
Being stacked for
Yes.
more comments. Megan, see your hand. Who else? Anyone else want to talk? Okay, Megan.
I mean, there are a number of other great patriot writers that were producing patriotic works at the time. Phyllis Wheatley, who was a black slave in Philadelphia, comes to mind. She wrote some amazing poetry. There are a few others that maybe we could present at the same time, and that way we wouldn't exclude the contributions of those not recorded in history books, or not recorded adequately in history books.
I love Megan's idea. I was thinking about, and somebody else said something to this effect too. The only thing that anybody around here, and I played Patrick Henley in a school play once, the only line I know is "Give me liberty or give me death." That's the only line. So you can pretty much say anything you want leading up to "Give me liberty or give me death," and people will go for it. So we could write our own speech in regards to what we value, and then say "Give me liberty or give me death," and they'll get the theatrical part of it. And I love the idea of doing a historical mashup of a lot of really think of it almost as a cool song that we're doing in a theatrical thing in that way, and do an actual mashup with a bunch of stuff, and maybe insert some stuff, the language that's going on today with historical stuff, and then just end it all with "Give me liberty or give me death."
I think it's important to leave George III in as a reminder to people that our founding fathers were not founding fathers when they were founding. They were rebels. And that's what we are.
Anybody else in the staff? Was that hand?
Sure, yeah. I was to add on to what you were saying, I'm completely full on in support of that. Because again, reading through this thing, it's a long sort of piece of prose that has a lot in there about God, and a lot in there about the Stamp Act, and a lot in there about stuff we don't really have anything to do with. There are some great speeches, obviously, by Dr. King, by loads of other. Who's the guy from the Civil War? Damn it.
There was more than one guy from the Civil War.
Sorry? I think I'm thinking of Frederick Douglass. Yeah, there are a couple of his speeches that are really poignant. And there's always one Lincoln speech, the "From whence shall we expect the approach of danger should some transatlantic yada yada yada." I'm a fan of the mashup idea. I think that's a really cool idea.
Okay, so what I hear from the group, I think, and as a moderator, it's really hard sometimes to change from what I think the group says to what I want the group to say. So I want to make that very well known. So what I'm trying to propose is basically, I think that everybody agrees that this time, date, and spirit of this is very good, but maybe if we added an affinity group to it to discuss the actual content of what is said. Do we feel confident voting on that? Okay. Anyone opposed to that, voting on that specifically? Okay. All right. Is that fun to you?
So make an affinity group for
the content of the speech.
Okay, so we make an affinity group to redo the speech. Correct?
Or whatever.
Okay. I would just want to preface that with, I'm a good point person for memorization and regurgitation of speeches. I'm not a very good person when it comes to writing eloquent speeches. So I would need serious help in getting that together.
I think I've heard a lot of people who would like to help you.
So I'm going to pass around this sheet and a pen, and if you can write your name and number or email so that I can get a hold of you for the purpose of this. I know I'm normally supposed to wait until the end, but it never seems to work out when I try to do that, so let me just be preemptive.
All right, so we're just going to vote now, all right? Okay. So all those in favor of the March 24th...
Clarification.
Yes.
Hey, can we get a reading of, I'm not sure if it got amended or what that affinity group thing does to the proposal at this point.
I'm not even sure.
From what I understand, that we are still doing a march on the 23rd to on the anniversary of the 236th anniversary of Patrick Henry's speech, "Give me liberty or give me death," keeping in that spirit, but not necessarily using that speech, and making it an affinity group to address the content of.
Okay.
Is that clear enough?
Yeah.
Is that clear enough for everyone? Okay. So all of those in favor of this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All those stand asides? 1, 2, 2. All those, anyone opposed? 0 opposed. So that passes. 16.
All right, I'm gonna be passing around.
So, yeah, so, and just to let everyone know, it is 6:27. We were having a wrap time of 6:30 in order to get to. We do have one proposal to go. Are you,
May I say something?
yes.
We can decide as a group if we just want to drop this. I just wanted to bring it back, my informal proposal to formal proposals, because it had consensus. It was to have a GA this Saturday at 3 p.m. in Monroe Park.
So okay, so do we need clarifying questions? Any? All right, any friendly amendments?
Just about the time, because I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Did you find out
I
about the
found.
time?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
There's a protest in the federal court, in front of the federal courthouse, but that's at noon.
Okay.
All right. So we're just moving this to vote, which seems very fast to me, but I think it's a proposal simple enough that it can happen. So all right, all of those in favor of a general assembly at 3 p.m. Monroe Park on Saturday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All of those stand asides. 1, 2, 3, 4 5 stand asides. Anyone opposed? 0 opposed. So that also passes. So we will have a GA on Saturday at 3 p.m. at Monroe Park. Moving on, we have general announcements. Can we open staff for general announcements? And can we keep them to a minute?